Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Honorable General TNI Purnawirawan Fachrul Razi, S.I.P, S.H.M.H, the Minister of the Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. To the Honorable Dr. Bandar M.H. Hajjar, as the President of ISDB Group. To the Honorable Professor Dr. Haji Bambang Sudibyo, MBA, CA, as the BAZNAS Chairman. To the Honorable Saleh Jelassi, Resident Representative of ISDB Group Regional Hub Indonesia. To our distinguished guests from the Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, from the Ministry of Finance, BAZNAS, the Ministry of Religious Affairs, National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, Bank Indonesia, Financial Services Authority, Badan Wakaf Indonesia, UNICEF, UNDP, and to the audience at home who are watching. Welcome to the webinar and launching of the strategic partnership between ISDB Group and BAZNAS under the topic of unlocking the potential of zakat for poverty reduction and COVID-19. Alhamdulillah, praises to Allah, for He has blessed us all with health during these troubled times and has granted us the opportunity to gather here today for this event. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Arwa Filaditya Rarasokta, and today I will be serving as the Master of Ceremony throughout this event. Ladies and gentlemen, zakat, which is the third pillar of Islam, has been used as a social financing instrument through Islamic history to address poverty within the poorer segments of our communities. However, it has primarily been channeled at the individual level, and there is still a lot of unrealized zakat potential across the world. Realizing this opportunity, BAZNAS and the Islamic Development Bank Group are partnering on a transformative and pioneering pilot project to integrate zakat with some of Indonesia's community-driven development programs. The objective of the project is to develop a model to improve the collection of zakat and effectively channel and also maintain a sustainable flow of funds to support successful national-level CDD programs, which have strong grassroots poverty reduction and livelihood enhancement impacts. Now, before we start the event, I would like to read the agenda for today. After my opening, we will be singing the national anthem of Indonesia, which is Indonesia Raya. Then we will listen to a Quran recitation from Aziz Ashadiki. This will be followed by an opening and welcoming remarks, and then we will watch a video presentation on the BAZNAS profile. After that, we will be listening to several keynote speeches, which will then proceed with a press conference. After the press conference, this will be followed by a project briefing. And after the project briefing, we will finally have the webinar with the topic, The Role of Islamic Social Finance for Poverty Alleviation. Then finally, we will end the program with a closing statement. Now, to start the event, let us all listen to the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. To the audience at home, we would kindly like to ask to turn on your camera and rise and sing along with us. Also, please place your right hand over your heart like this. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia Raya. Moving on to the next session, we will listen to a Quranic recitation from Aziz Ashadiki, who is a student from Sekolah Cendekia BAZNAS. To Aziz Ashadiki, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ولا تعذبك أموالهم ولا أولادهم إنما يريد الله ليعذبهم في الحياة الدنيا وتزهق أنفسهم وهم كافرون ويحلفون بالله إنهم لمنكم وما هم منكم ولكنهم قوم يفرقون لو يجدون ملجأ أو مغارات أو مدخلا لولوا إليه وهم يجمحون ومنهم من يلمزك في الصدقات فإن أعطوا منها رضوا وإن لم يعطوا منها إذا هم يسخطون ولو أنهم رضوا ما آتاهم الله ورسوله حسبنا الله وقالوا حسبنا الله سيؤتينا الله من فضله ورسوله إنا Inna ilallahi raghibun. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم صدق الله العظيم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Masya Allah. Thank you for that beautiful recitation, Brother Aziz. Now, we will move on to the next agenda, which is listening to several opening and welcoming remarks from two respected speakers. The first opening remark is from the BAZNAS Chairman, Professor Dr. Haji Bambang Sudibyo, MBA, CA. To Professor Bambang Sudibyo, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, wa syukrulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajmain amma ba'du. His Excellency Jenderal TNI Purnawirawan Fachrul Razi, MIP, Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Dr. Bandar M. Hajjar, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, Honorable Saleh Jelassi, Resident Representative, Islamic Development Group, Regional Hub Indonesia, Honorable all BAZNAS Commissioners, and all members of the Board of Directors of BAZNAS, Honorable webinar speakers, Dr. Irfan Syauqi Beik from BAZNAS, Dr. Ahmad Juwaini from KNEKS, Mr. Muhammad Ishthiaq Akbar from Islamic Development Bank, Mr. Wahyu Kuncahyo from BAZNAS, invited guests from Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, BAZNAS, Ministry of Religious Affairs, National Committee for Islamic Economic and Finance, KNEKS, Bank Indonesia, Financial Services Authority or OJK, Badan Wakaf Indonesia, UNICEF, and UNDP. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremony of the launching of strategic partnership between Islamic Development Bank Group and BAZNAS. Alhamdulillah, due to the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, all of us can now attend the opening ceremony of the launching of the strategic partnership between Islamic Development Bank Group, and BAZNAS in the virtual meeting room and BAZNAS TV. The theme of this event is Unlocking the Potential of Zakat for Poverty Reduction and COVID-19. At a time when we are in the midst of global pandemic that is inflicting extreme suffering on people and societies across the globe. As we all aware, we are going through very difficult time and challenging time, a time that we have never experienced before, a time that we will never forget. BAZNAS, according to its role, has a focus on helping the poor in Indonesia. At the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, the poor were the most affected. Many lost their jobs and their income. Zakat, which is the third pillar of Islam, and levied on all persons who have wealthy above the nisab of zakat, may provide a sustained, self-replenishing source of financing for uplifting 8 categories of mustahik. If the source of Islamic social finance is channeled and in a coordinated manner for collective development of the needy and eligible communities, then zakat would be an effective and sustainable tool for lifting the poor communities out of poverty. One of our strategic partnership with Islamic Development Bank Group is the technical assistance for integrating zakat and community-based poverty reduction programs. The Islamic Development Bank Group will support the project with $515,000 through 2 technical assistance grants, one from ISFD and the other from Islamic Development Bank. BAZNAS provides funds of $230,000, bringing the pilot project valued at $745,000. The project consists of 5 components, namely information technology enhancement, capacity building and development, zakat public awareness campaign, piloting zakat in community-driven development, and project management. BAZNAS is the executing agency and will manage the implementation of the project. We believe that under this collaboration, we will bring advancement to Indonesia's zakat management and a wider impact to the community. Recognizing the immense need to support communities in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, part of the grant funds from this collaboration are allocated for COVID-19 recovery initiatives. Under this scheme, we provide livelihood recovery support for 35 micro entrepreneurs operating Z-Mart retail stores. In addition, we also support 78 schools in 6 cities with hand washing facilities and capacity building to mitigate a risk regarding the COVID-19. We are also working together with UNICEF to provide a technical guideline document to utilize zakat fund for supporting water, sanitation, and hygiene program. Excellencies, honorables, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. The use of zakat fund must have a strategic significance to enforce ukhuwah, brotherhood, collaboration, and solidarity among Muslim nations and Ummah to reach our common goals. This collaboration is a platform to formulate an effective solution for multidimensional problems in the Islamic world, ultimately concerning poverty alleviation, the COVID-19 pandemic, and our effort to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Finally, I would like to thank to BAZNAS and Islamic Development Bank teams for providing their invaluable support, and whoever has made contribution to this event. At the end, after our remark, I would like to kindly ask His Excellency General TNI Purnawiran Fachrul Razi, MIP, Minister of Regional Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, and His Excellency Dr. Bandar M.H. Hajjar, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, to give remark and then officially open this launching event. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for your amazing speech, Professor Bambang. Moving on to our next agenda is an opening speech from the President Representative of ISDB Group Regional Hub Indonesia, Mr. Saleh Jelassi. To Mr. Saleh Jelassi, the floor is yours.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. His Excellency Dr. Bandar Hajjar, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, who will be joining us shortly. His Excellency Mr. Fachrul Razi, Minister of Religious Affairs, Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Professor Dr. Bambang Sudibyo, Chairman of the National Board of Zakat, BAZNAS, distinguished board members of BAZNAS, the Executive Director of KNEKS, my friend and dear brother, Mr. Vanchi Roharjo, distinguished officials, partners, speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I will be very brief in my welcoming remarks to allow you to enjoy the keynote addresses delivered by the guests of honor for this event, His Excellency the President of the Islamic Development Bank Group and the Minister of Religious Affairs, Republic of Indonesia. I am confident that we will be all inspired by their wisdom. At the outset, I would like to mention that it is my privilege and honor to welcome you all to this event marking the launch of the ISDB Group BAZNAS collaboration on integrating Zakat and community development driven for poverty alleviation and COVID-19 response. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to the National Board of Zakat, BAZNAS, for being a strong partner with us in organizing this launching event. As a development practitioner serving in the field, I would also like to highlight that capacity building activities bring a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction to our daily work by helping us create profound development impact for our member countries, despite the modesty of our financing contribution. We can witness first-hand multitude of benefits in terms of enhanced capacity, access to newer markets and partners, adaptation of newer technologies and best practices, as well as application of appropriate policies. Distinguished participants, my last brief message would be to His Excellency the President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, Dr. Bandar Hajjar. Mr. President, despite your extremely busy schedule, you have honored us with your presence last week at the International Hajj Conference and addressed the audience at 5 a.m. in the morning in Jeddah time. And here you are honoring us with your presence again today. This is definitely a great honor and an invaluable support for all the ISDB Group Regional Hub Indonesia team. However, it is also a great responsibility put on our shoulders as under the ISDB President's 5-year program aiming to transform the bank to fit into a new development agenda. One of the core pillars is ISDB Group's aspiration to become a decentralized organization, swiftly responding to the needs of all the segments of the societies in its member countries. Inshallah, we will continue to strive to develop innovative and authentic solutions along these lines. As an institution which strongly believes in synergy and partnerships, we will continue working together with other multilateral and regional organizations, public institutions, as well as the corporate sector to serve our people. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have around 100 participants on Zoom as well as on the new YouTube channel. I wish all of you in this event a fruitful and productive deliberations. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Saleh Jelassi, for your inspiring words. Now, we will move on to the next agenda, which is a video presentation of the BAZNAS profile. To the audience, please stand by for the video presentation.
Badan Amil Zakat Nasional is the highest government zakat institution that was established by the Presidential Decree number 8, year 2001. Its major function is to collect and distribute zakat, infak, and sadaqah at the national level. In accordance with the law number 23 of 2011 concerning management of zakat, BAZNAS Indonesia is given the authority to manage zakat nationally. Based on its law, BAZNAS is declared as a non-structural government institution that is independent and is responsible to the President through the Minister of Religion Affairs. BAZNAS spread throughout Indonesia and organizing 23 national laws, 15 large provinces, 34 BAZNAS provinces, and 514 BAZNAS regencies and cities. Since establishment, BAZNAS Indonesia has attempted to provide benefit to mustahik or zakat beneficiaries in order to increase their quality of life through BAZNAS programs. The programs categorized in 3 general topics: economic development programs, social programs, and advocational programs. The social programs including BAZNAS Disaster Response. BAZNAS Disaster Response is a work unit from BAZNAS Distribution Division, which is tasked for reducing disaster effects that causing poverty and reducing the risk of poverty due to disaster. BAZNAS Active Service is a social emergency service program for mustahik with a model of handling on target, on time, and fast, and handling accurately. BAZNAS Free Hospital. BAZNAS Free Hospital is a program that represents BAZNAS in integrated health service for all mustahik, which include curative, preventive, rehabilitative, promotive, and advocation aspects. BAZNAS Scholar School. BAZNAS Scholar School is a BAZNAS education institution at junior high school level. The student is a child from economically disadvantaged family. BAZNAS Scholarship Institution. BAZNAS Scholarship Institution is a program that provides education funding for college students from economically disadvantaged economic family as the intergeneration responsibility. The economic development programs. Zakat Community Development is BAZNAS empowerment program through community and village by integrating aspects of da'wah, economy, education, and humanity comprehensively, which is funded by zakat, infaq, charity, and other religious social funds. The Institute for Economic Empowerment Mustahik, institution that is assigned to improve the quality life of Mustahik through agriculture, animal husbandry, fishery, marine, plantation, and continuous sustainable forestry based on zakat empowerment value and become one of the basic elements to fulfill BAZNAS vision. BAZNAS Microfinance is one of the BAZNAS utilization institution on economic sector that running empowerment program on micro business owner for society which is classified as mustahik and have commitment as entrepreneurship in the form of non-profit productive financing. BAZNAS Institute of Mustahik Breeder Empowerment is a program institution to carry out the function of livestock production, marketing, and institutional assistance for breeders. Vocational programs including BAZNAS Center of Strategic Studies. BAZNAS Center of Strategic Studies is a program that assigned to do strategic research on zakat to advance national zakat. Mualaf Center BAZNAS is a program that is assigned to provide guidance and assistance for mu'alaf according to Islamic Sharia guidelines to be a kafah Muslim and Muslim.
That was the video presentation on the BAZNAS profile. We hope that through that informative video, the audience and participants of today's event have a more vivid picture about BAZNAS. We would also like to welcome to the room His Excellency Dr. Bandar Hajjar as the ISDB President Group. Welcome to Dr. Bandar. Following this agenda, we will be listening to keynote speeches. The first keynote speech will be from His Excellency, the Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, TNI Jenderal Purnawirawan Fachrul Razi, S.I.P, S.H.M.H. We would like to notify to the audience that the keynote speech will be delivered in Bahasa Indonesia. During this speech of His Excellency, the Minister of Religious Affairs, if the participants would like an English version, please click on the closed captions button on the bottom of the Zoom screen and select Show Subtitles for the English translation. Kepada Jenderal TNI Purnawirawan Fachrul Razi, S.I.P, S.H.M.H, dengan segala hormatnya, kami persilahkan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Yang saya hormati Direktur Islamic Development Bank dan representatif IsDB untuk Indonesia. Yang saya hormati Ketua dan Wakil Ketua dan semua anggota Badan Amil Zakat Nasional, para undangan, dan seluruh audien yang berbahagia. Puji syukur marilah senantiasa kita panjatkan kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala atas karunia dan izinnya pada hari ini kita mampu melaksanakan peluncuran kolaborasi program Badan Amil Zakat Nasional dengan Islamic Development Bank. Kolaborasi antar institusi adalah sebuah keniscayaan dan kebutuhan untuk dilakukan di dalam berbagai bentuk dan program untuk kesejahteraan masyarakat dan kemajuan umat, bangsa, dan negara. Beberapa tahun belakangan, kolaborasi dan sinergi pengembangan sistem keuangan syariah, termasuk di dalamnya keuangan sosial, zakat, dan wakaf, semakin berkembang di Indonesia dan di berbagai kawasan dunia. pengembangan kolaborasi pengelolaan zakat untuk mengurangi kemiskinan dan penanganan COVID-19 menjadi agenda penting untuk dilaksanakan. Sejalan dengan spirit penguatan ekosistem pemberdayaan zakat, maka regulasi, manajemen, organisasi, komitmen kelembagaan, indeks literasi, akses layanan, komunikasi publik, dan tanggung jawab sosial lembaga pengelola zakat harus semakin diperkuat agar membawa dampak positif yang signifikan. Saudara-saudara sekalian, Badan Amil Zakat Nasional sebagai lembaga pemerintah non-struktural yang bertanggung jawab kepada Presiden melalui Menteri Agama dalam melaksanakan tugas pengelolaan zakat, infak, sedekah, dan dana sosial keagamaan lainnya bagi umat Islam perlu mengembangkan kolaborasi dengan institusi lain, baik di dalam negeri maupun dengan lembaga internasional. Dalam kesempatan ini saya menyambut baik kolaborasi yang dijalin BAZNAS dengan Islamic Development Bank. Menurut catatan Kementerian Agama, di masa 10 tahun yang lalu, kolaborasi BAZNAS telah juga terjalin dengan ARTI atau Islamic Research and Training Institute yang berada di bawah naungan Islamic Development Bank dengan ISDB sendiri. Kerangka kemitraan dan kolaborasi kali ini lebih operasional, yaitu di bidang dana hibah, pendampingan teknis untuk integrasi zakat dan komunitas berbasis program pengurangan kemiskinan yang diharapkan dapat memberi manfaat signifikan bagi BAZNAS dan masyarakat Indonesia. Pemerintah Republik Indonesia mendorong semua organisasi pengelola zakat agar terus meningkatkan peran dan kontribusi pendayagunaan zakat untuk membantu mengatasi kemiskinan, pencapaian tujuan pembangunan global berkelanjutan, serta membantu tugas negara dalam menyelamatkan kehidupan manusia di tengah pandemi COVID-19. Banyak harapan disandarkan kepada keuangan sosial syariah, khususnya zakat dan wakaf, ketika sistem keuangan yang digerakkan oleh pasar, kapital, dan penerimaan negara mengalami guncangan resesi akibat pandemi. Saudara-saudara sekalian, saya sekali lagi memberikan apresiasi kolaborasi BAZNAS dengan Islamic Development Bank. Saya yakin semua ini merefleksikan misi Islam sebagai rahmatan lil alamin, yaitu kehadiran Islam untuk memperbaiki akhlak, moral manusia, melindungi kesucian keluarga, serta mengangkat harkat, derajat, dan martabat manusia secara keseluruhan. Insya Allah melalui pengembangan sektor keuangan yang inklusif, niscaya kesenjangan sosial dan ekonomi, begitu pula jarak psikologis dan jarak teknologi, serta informasi di antara negara-negara muslim di dunia diharapkan semakin dekat satu sama lain. Potensi zakat umat Islam sangat membantu tugas negara memoderasi ketimpangan ekonomi sosial kemiskinan sebagai permasalahan negara dan global. Oleh karena itu, organisasi pengelola zakat harus bekerja profesional, amanah, jujur, tidak berpihak pada suku dan golongan, serta memiliki loyalitas yang tinggi terhadap tugas dan misi yang diembannya. Saudara-saudara sekalian, akhirnya saya ucapkan selamat atas kolaborasi antara BAZNAS dan Islamic Development Bank mengawal implementasi proyek kerjasama ini dengan baik agar mencapai tujuan yang diharapkan. Sekian dan terima kasih. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada yang terhormat Bapak Jenderal TNI Purnawirawan Fachrul Razi, S.I.P, S.H, M.H atas penyampaian keynote speech-nya yang luar biasa. Thank you for the amazing speech, Your Excellency, Jenderal TNI Purnawirawan Fachrul Razi, S.I.P, S.H, M.H. The next keynote speech we will be listening to is from His Excellency, the President of the ISDB Group, Dr. Bandar M.H. Hajjar. To His Excellency, Dr. Bandar, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. His Excellency, Mr. Fachrul Razi, Minister of Religious Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency, Professor Sudibyo, Chairman of National Board of Zakat, BAZNAS, distinguished officials and partners, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure to participate in this event, celebrating the launch of the strategic collaboration between the ISDB Group and National Board of Zakat, BAZNAS, through the Technical Assistance Grant Project to integrate Zakat and community-driven development programs for poverty alleviation. I extend my sincere appreciation to BAZNAS Chairman, Professor Sudibyo, for co-hosting this landmark event, and I would like also to thank His Excellency, Minister of Religious Affairs, Mr. Fachrul Razi, and the government of Indonesian officials for their participation. On behalf of the Islamic Development Bank Group, I offer my sincere prayer for Indonesia and all our member countries and the world to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic and make a swift and complete recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to highlight Zakat's enormous potential and how this project aims to facilitate Zakat structure collection and utilization for supporting poverty alleviation and other SDGs as part of ISDB support for BAZNAS in implementing some of COVID-19 response program. I will also share how the ISDB Group works to mainstream innovative solutions to support our member countries to cope and recover from the distressing COVID-19 pandemic. As we all know, Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It is a compulsory annual self-purification practice of giving to support the people in need. Alhamdulillah, this Islamic obligation is increasingly recognized as a powerful social financing tool, supporting communities' effort to reduce poverty and achieve socioeconomic development. The beauty of Zakat is that it is a naturally sustained and self-replenishment source of financing. Any small increase in the amount of officially collected Zakat will accrue to a significant amount of Zakat's fund to be used in a coordinated and collective manner for poverty reduction and community development based on Zakat's rules. Distinguished guests, Zakat is also a substantial financial safety net that can play a vital role in supporting the needy and disadvantaged, especially during economic crisis. And this is why part of the IsDB group support in this project is allocated to helping BAZNAS combat the COVID-19 pandemic and stimulate Zakat's leverage to maximize this effort. Now let me shed some light on the IsDB group project with BAZNAS. The IsDB and the Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development, the group's poverty alleviation arm, in collaboration with the Ministry of Religious Affairs and BAZNAS, aims to identify an effective model improving Zakat collection. The model envisages effectively channeling and maintaining a sustainable flow of funds to support successful nationwide CDD programs, which have substantial grassroots poverty reduction and livelihood enhancement impact. The IsDB group project will develop a digital Zakat collection and distribution platform where the Zakat givers or muzakkis can securely donate their fund and transparently track their donation to the intended beneficiaries. The project will seek to put good governance and robust reporting measures in place to win the trust and confidence of Zakat givers. Though such online charity platforms exist, this innovative platform will be first of its kind, dedicated Zakat platform safely managed by a nationally mandated body. The platform will adapt a structured way of utilizing the fund for community development and achieving SDGs while abiding by Zakat's rule. The project seeks to leverage crowdsourcing enormous potential, motivating the crowds to become an active network of developers. This is in line with IsDB President 5 years program and the new business model to create partnership and transform the IsDB into a bank of developers. The P5P aims to make the IsDB more competitive and responsive to the needs of its member countries. It also seeks to make the IsDB as a partner of choice in addressing development challenges through 6 key pillars: awareness, linkage, competency, funding, delivery, and reinforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing unprecedented crisis. The IsDB group has revisited its strategies to take on the challenges head on. It has opted for out-of-the-box solutions, such as innovative project with BAZNAS to respond to the communities and countries' emerging need. Allow me to take this opportunity to invite traditional and non-traditional development partners to join us on our development journey. I believe our endeavor will create synergies to endorse Zakat not only as a means of spiritual fulfillment, but also as economic leverage for a betterment of the nations and Muslims Ummah as a whole. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end my address by reiterating my thanks to the co-organizer of our event, BAZNAS, hoping that the collaboration between IsDB Group and BAZNAS will continue to flourish in the years to come. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, His Excellency Dr. Bandar, for your wisdom and encouraging words. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up all the keynote and welcoming remarks for today's event. We would like to once again thank His Excellency, the Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, and also His Excellency, the President of ISDB Group, for attending this event. May Allah shower them with health and blessings always. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Moving on to the next agenda is the press conference. We would like to inform to the audience that the press conference will begin momentarily once His Excellency, the Minister, and His Excellency, the President of ISDB Group, have left the forum. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let us start the press conference. I will read several questions which have been given to us from various media. The questions will then be answered by either Professor Bambang from BAZNAS or by Mr. Saleh from ISDB Group. This session will last for not more than 30 minutes. Let us begin. The first question is from Jawa Pos for ISDB Group. The question is, what is the focus of this collaboration and how is the technical implementation? To Mr. Saleh, you may answer the question.
Yeah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think in my speech, as well as the excellent presentation and comprehensive presentation given by my brother, Professor Dr. Sudibyo, the focus basically of this technical assistance is we are aware that zakat potential in Indonesia is tremendous, okay? And figures indicate that the figure is around 19 billion US dollars. Currently, the only collection figures are estimated to be around 3% of these figures, and BAZNAS again is able only to collect only 1% of that. So we are very, very, very far from realizing even a small portion of the existing potential. As highlighted in the speech of His Excellency, the President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, zakat is not only religious, spiritual fulfillment. Development in our member countries, including Indonesia, is becoming an increasingly complex matter, which requires synergetic efforts and coordinated efforts to tackle. In doing that, we believe that in the Islamic modes of finance and the Islamic institutions, the institution of zakat has a high potential in contributing to these development efforts in the society once it is streamlined and channeled effectively. So the focus of the collaboration, as I said, will be improving the zakat collection and its effective channeling to various community programs that aim at poverty alleviation. The campaigns will be targeting 8 eligible categories, or what we call the asnaf of zakat. Through this collaboration, we will look at the technology, platform development, capacity development, There is an awareness campaign and the pilot campaigns with much funding. The technical implementation, of course, will be managed by BAZNAS, as it is the executing agency for this grant. And the ISDB will be providing the necessary oversight and technical support, as of course, in addition to the grant financing. We hope, that this grant is currently following the standard ISDB guidelines and procedures that are valid during the execution of all our development operations. I hope I gave a clear answer to your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we will be moving on to the second question, which is from MNC Trijaya. And this question will be answered from BAZNAS. The question is, are there any intentions to build the strength of Islamic economics through this collaborative program? Professor Bambang, you may answer the question.
Yes, definitely there will be a contribution to the Islamic economy. Zakat is an Islamic social finance tool, and it is a very good way to achieve or contribute to financial inclusion by improving the disadvantaged segment of the community by providing economic empowerment opportunities and programs, such as promoting micro enterprises, sustainable livelihood activities, etc. This is also a priority within the KNEKS and the Islamic Finance Roadmap of Indonesia. The collaboration can also catalyze partnership with other organizations and programs to expand the coverage and use of zakat in economic and livelihood development. And this in turn will help to boost the Islamic or Sharia economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Bambang. So that was the answer from BAZNAS to answer the question from MNC Trijaya. Now we'll move on to the third question, which is for ISDB Group. The question from Andalu Agency is, during this pandemic, many banks announced that they had experienced a decline in profit or in a general decline in performance. What about Islamic banks? And what is the strategy to deal with this pandemic? And what about the commitment to aid for people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, such as in the collaboration with BAZNAS? Mr. Saleh, you may answer.
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is a very long question from Anadolu, our dear Anadolu agency. The impact on the Islamic financial industry, I think the Islamic bank professionals could answer that in a better manner. However, we believe that the same challenges that are facing the conventional banks are also facing the Islamic banks in this pandemic. The only thing is that we have already the empirical evidence that the Islamic banks were more resilient. This is a fact, globally proven, that they were more resilient during the financial crisis of 2008-2009. Of course, in terms of the Islamic Development Bank group, we do, as a development institution, we do not see for any adverse impact on our financial performance. On the contrary, we have witnessed a great demand on the what we call the special program response program that we have devised in order to respond to the COVID-related impact in our member countries. The ISDB as ISDB group has put together a package of 2.2 billion US dollars to help all its member countries live up to the challenges, and it's very similar to the strategy of BAZNAS. It consists of 3 R's. The first pillar is responding to the crisis with the emergency needed, the emergency response in terms of health needs, in terms of equipment, in terms of medicine, etc., as well as food support. The second pillar is aiming at restoring the situation, and as you may be aware, the impact of the crisis until now, the forecasts are around 25 million jobs have been lost, and I think the second pillar is basically aiming to restore the economy, to keep the jobs, assisting the SMEs, who constitute the backbone of our economies in general, and this is also the case in Indonesia, and inshallah, once this is done, the bank will, of course, will resume its activities. It will restart its activities and help its member countries continue with their development plans of infrastructure and enhancing their position in the global value chains globally. I hope I have tackled most of the points in this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saleh, for your answer. It was a very clear answer. So that was the answer from ISDB Group regarding the question from Anadolu Agency. Now we will move on to the next question, which is from MNC Trijaya. The question is, we have already answered the question from MNC Trijaya, so now we will be moving on to the next question, which is from Suara. Suara Media will like to ask to BAZNAS, what output do you want to achieve in this collaborative program? And how do you measure the impact of the program? Yes, Professor Bambang, you may answer.
Okay, yeah. For the specific program, we are looking to develop the secure and versatile Zakat IT platform, thereby contributing to the digitalization agenda. We are also expecting that the quantum of Zakat formally collected will also improve as a result of this program. In addition to this, there will be capacity building within BAZNAS headquarters in Jakarta and local BAZNAS in the provinces, and also BAZNAS at city and district level to help develop the staff to improve their community engagement, as well as enhance their monitoring and reporting. The impact will be measured by the increase of the Zakat funds, and also by having a larger amount of resources being channeled to the community development and other poverty alleviation programs. The measurement and reporting will be done on periodically basis by BAZNAS, and there will be continuous engagement and monitoring by Islamic Development Bank. I think in this reporting, Puskas BAZNAS will monitor the impact of this program, and then they will report the impact by both in terms of collection and also in terms of distribution, on routine basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Bambang, for your answer regarding the question from Suara Media. Right, moving on to the next question will be from Viva for ISDB to answer. The question for ISDB is, the COVID-19 pandemic that hit the world has caused economic recession, which has been experienced by the Muslim countries. What does this collaboration program offer in dealing with the impacts of COVID-19? Mr. Saleh?
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, I believe that I have addressed partly, at least, this question in my previous answer to the Anadolu question. Yes, indeed. We think that the pandemic has caused tremendous health and economic damage to countries, to our countries. But we hope, inshallah, that as it is known, that such crises emanating from such pandemics, we believe that the recovery could be faster for our member countries, and I think this is consistent with the forecasts with the general forecasts on how the economy will be recovering, inshallah, once this pandemic is over. Of course, this is still uncertain, but we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this will be over as soon as possible in all our member countries as well as the whole world. Yes, as I said, the immediate impact of this, such crisis hit the economy directly, as in contrast with financial crisis, which take time, but this is hitting the economy directly, and I said, loss of a big loss in jobs. And of course, the poor and disadvantaged have been disproportionately affected of that. The bank in general, as I said, it has devised a special response program for a total amount of 2.2 billion, which has 3 R's, the respond, restore, and restart. And we are working, inshallah, to implement part of it in Indonesia. We have recently, alhamdulillah, approved a project of $252 million, aiming at rehabilitating 6 hospitals and referral centers in Indonesia, spread out through Indonesia, that will be, inshallah, serving around 70 to 80 million Indonesians. We believe that this is an effort. Of course, it will take time, but this is an attempt to enhance the resilience of the health system in the medium and long term, and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects Indonesia from such crisis and the whole world in the future. Of course, in this specific program, Zakat can provide a natural targeting to the more fragile segments of the society, as I said, in the 8 categories, that we have identified, as a target under this grant and under this program, are also the main categories that are affected by the pandemic. In Indonesia, this grant will also support and stimulate activities to support COVID-19 recovery, and this is a link that was made later because this was approved back in 2019. However, as a result of the COVID, we thought, with the help of BAZNAS, we should be responding and act in a flexible manner to respond and contribute to the recovery efforts, especially, of course, in health, hygiene, and restoring economic and livelihoods of the fragile segments of the society. We hope that this model will prove to be successful, and we believe that this is a pilot, and it can be expanded to cover a larger number of beneficiaries and also replicated in Indonesia and in other member countries of the Islamic Development Bank group as well, inshallah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Saleh, for your answer. Now, we will go to the last question of the press conference session, and it is for BAZNAS, for Professor Bambang. The question is, what is the role of zakat in Indonesia during COVID-19, during this pandemic? Professor Bambang, you may answer.
Thank you. Yeah. The pandemic has caused tremendous health and economic damage to many people in the country. The poor and the disadvantaged have been disproportionately affected. Yeah. Zakat can provide a natural targeting because most of the 8 categories of S.I.P are also the main categories that are affected by the pandemic. Zakat can be used to support health programs, livelihood recovery programs, providing cash support to the poor as per the rules of zakat. Part of the grants funds under this project are being used to support 35 micro retail or Z-Mart entrepreneurs and improving the hygiene facilities and awareness in 78 schools in some part of Java. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Bambang, for your answers. Alhamdulillah, this marks the end of the press conference. We are very glad to see so much enthusiasm during this session, and we would like to thank the media and the audience for their amazing questions. We would also like to thank Professor Bambang and Mr. Saleh Jelassi for your time and for answering the questions.
Thank you very much. And we thank all the media representatives for their time and interest also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now that the press conference has ended, we will move on to the project briefing session. Now, this session will be moderated by Mr. Said Faik Najib, the Senior Islamic Finance Specialist at ISDB. Mr. Faik has been educated with an executive education in competitive dynamics in Islamic finance at the University of Cambridge Judge Business School. He also holds a Master of Science in Islamic Finance with distinction at INSIF and a Bachelor of Arts with honors with first-class distinction in International Business Management at the University of Nottingham. To Mr. Said Faik Najib, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Sister Arwa. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and a very good day to all our participants. So this session is about the project briefing. This project is the ISDB Technical Assistance Project with BAZNAS for integrating zakat and community-driven development programs. So in this session, we will be looking into the technical insights, more in-depth project details, and we will have one speaker each from ISDB and one from BAZNAS. So I'll be introducing each speaker, and each speaker is requested to share their presentation or their thoughts for about 10 to 12 minutes each. And towards the end, we may have some time for perhaps one question each from ISDB and for BAZNAS. So the first speaker in this session today will be Dr. Muhammad Ishthiaq Akbar, who is the country manager in the Islamic Development Group's regional hub in Indonesia. Now, Dr. Ishthiaq, he has been associated with ISDB for over 15 years, and he has been working on managing a portfolio of more than 20 development projects amounting to more than $1 billion and across 10 countries in Asia and Africa. So currently in his role in the regional hub of Indonesia, he is tasked with relationship and partnership management, business development, as well as portfolio management for the IDB member countries in the Southeast Asia region. So specifically, he's looking at projects in Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So without further ado, Dr. Ishthiaq, please give us some technical insights about this new TA project which we are launching today.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. To all the distinguished guests and speakers and participants and audience, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you to share some of the background as well as technical details related to the project. And since the time is short, let me go straight into the presentation. So I will start by giving a very quick background and introduction to the ISDB group and the work that we've been doing in Indonesia. I'll then set the context for the project and how we first identified the need for this project, what is the potential, and then move into the justification of driving the design and the cooperation with BAZNAS. I'll shed a little bit of light on the technical assistance project design and conclude with expectations. So very briefly, in terms of the ISDB group, we are a multilateral development institution. We have multiple entities within the ISDB group. As you can see on the right-hand side, we have the main body, ISDB, followed by our Islamic Research and Training arm, IRTI, our Islamic Insurance arm, our private sector financing arm, ICD, and our trade financing arm, ITFC. And last but not least, we have our Poverty Alleviation Fund, ISFD, Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development, which is also contributing to this TA project. In terms of our coverage, we cover 57 member countries, and all the countries are members of the OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation. We are unique in that we are a completely South-South international multilateral organization. And in this regard, all our member countries are borrower member countries of the ISDB's products and services. In terms of the work that we do in Indonesia, Alhamdulillah, is one of the founding members of the Islamic Development Bank, and it had joined the ISDB when it was formed in 1974. And since 1978, we have been conducting operations in Indonesia. As you can see from the statistics here, since inception or since operations began, we have had over $5 billion worth of approvals, the bulk of it coming from ISDB when it comes to sovereign or government public sector projects amounting to over $3 billion US. And we have done nearly $2 billion US worth of trade financing. We are also quite proud of the fact that we have supported the Islamic insurance sector with over $1.3 billion US worth of insurance businesses insured. And in addition to that, we have supported the capital markets through sukuk investments in the country of over $1 billion US. Now, moving on to the context of this project itself, I will look at it from two angles. One is the potential and the context from a zakat perspective, and the second from the perspective of community-driven development, or CDD. A lot of the speakers in their opening remarks and keynotes, they touched upon the huge potential that our third pillar of Islam has as a social finance tool. And globally, there is a huge potential. And it's been estimated from our IRTI experts that there's over $550 to $600 billion worth of zakat potential globally available on an annual basis. And even when you consider Indonesia, the potential is tremendous. The numbers were quoted by Professor Bambang and also alluded to by all the keynote speakers as well, that even if a small portion of this potential can be tapped upon and the quantum increased, the available resources will be a significant amount that can be used for development interventions. Now, the second aspect is community-driven development, or CDD. CDD is a globally recognized program that's been one of the most effective grassroots interventions amongst many countries. And even in Indonesia, there is a vast experience going back to 1998 when the first community-driven developments were started with the Kecamatan Development Program, or KDP. Then you had the PMPM Mandiri, and now in this current iteration, you have the Dana Desa as well as the Kotaku, or Kota Tanpa Kumu program, which is all targeting community-based development. And in terms of the potential, as I mentioned before, Indonesia has a good environment of structured and targeted national programs, such as the Dana Desa and the Kotaku, the BAZNAS ZCD, or Zakat Community Development, and many other programs that are being run both by the government, the subnational governments, or NGOs and foundations. In addition to that, Indonesia also has a very unique and very very concerted movement called Gotong Royong, which is community togetherness or community mobilization. It's a very strong social mobilization and cooperation tool that you have in Indonesia, which is another strong point for establishing this program. We also have a very good ecosystem that is developing within the country. You have ministries that are involved, such as the Ministry of Finance, Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs. You have agencies such as the KNEKS, BAZNAS, which are working to be involved in the Islamic finance space. You have very active NGOs and non-profit organizations. You have regulators like OJK, which is providing a lot of support when it comes to Islamic finance regulations and monitoring. And then you have the communities themselves who are very active. So in addition to that, Indonesia has very clear roadmaps on how it wants to see its development through the RPJMN and the roadmap on the SDGs as well. In addition to that, you also have a very strong digitalization drive. You have a lot of the population who have access to the mobile technologies and the smart mobiles as well. You have a very strong penetration in all parts of Indonesia. And Indonesia is also known as a fintech sandbox, where there's a lot of development that is happening. So having all these potentials, we then moved on to the need. As was mentioned, poverty alleviation is still a strong priority. Indonesia did well in bringing down the poverty to below 10% of the in a national level. But with the COVID-19, that poverty achievements have in a way being reversed. So you still have poverty reduction as a strong priority moving forward. There's also a huge financing need when it comes to meeting the SDGs. The estimates put it in the billions of dollars that are needed annually to be able to meet the SDG targets by 2030. The government is also looking for a sustainable source of funding that can be channeled to these kind of community-based programs. And we are still lacking a very robust national platform for zakat collection as well as distribution from a mandated formal body. So taking all these into it very quickly in terms of the justification, I think this is very self-apparent. You have this, a strong alignment with the SDG targets. You have an alignment with the national priorities. And from ISDB's perspective, as our president mentioned, we have a strong mandate from an Islamic finance perspective, as well as our new business model, which is looking to create linkages and to catalyze the developers from the grassroots themselves. And that's why we are trying to unlock the philanthropic and the development potential of the crowd through this kind of project. And very quickly, moving on to the project, I think Wahyu, our next speaker, will also go into detail. But this project is looking at coming up with a pilot model which can help us to effectively collect and successfully channel some of the funds of zakat to existing community-based programs and poverty reduction programs. And for this, we are not just looking at only the IT platform. We are looking at building the capacity of the BAZNAS and stakeholders on the ground, as was mentioned by Professor Bambang earlier on. We are also looking at raising the awareness and really increasing people's awareness on zakat giving, as well as this platform in itself. we will also be piloting some projects and campaigns through this platform to show the proof of concept. And for this, there's a lot of opportunity for partnership moving forward. And finally, just to schematically show what the project design is about, the idea is to have a platform which will allow individuals, the corporates or the firms, as well as the civil service to channel their zakat into a very transparent, easy to use, safe platform, which will be managed by BAZNAS. And then that can be channeled to various programs such as the Dana Desa, SDG related programs, BAZNAS's own community-driven development programs, etc. And the difference here is that what we're trying to do is to build in a very dynamic and frequent results reporting so that the person who's giving the zakat will be comforted and will know that the money is being used for ABC purposes, so that there can be a tracking and there can be a link built between them and the beneficiary on the ground. And finally, just in terms of expectations, along with the outputs that I just mentioned in terms of the platform, the capacity building, the pilot campaigns that we are trying to do, what we are also hoping to establish is the linkages and partnerships. Because how we see it is that given that there's a huge potential to harness zakat for various poverty reduction programs, what we're trying to do is to create partnership with national and international organizations working on the ground to see how we can enhance the resources that are available and channel them to help in these kind of poverty alleviation, social development, economic empowerment programs as well. And at a larger level, we are hoping that this model can be replicated in our member countries, because we have many member countries which have similar institutions to BAZNAS and which have a similar potential for zakat. So we are hoping that the lessons learned as well as the models that can be developed can be shared with our member countries. So thank you very much, and back to you, Brother Saleh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ishthiaq. Very informative as well, and it's good to see all the progresses being made on the social finance front in Indonesia. We may come back to you for a question depending upon the time, but for the moment, the next speaker here with us today is Pa Wahyu Kuncahyo, who is the Director of Operations at BAZNAS, and this is a position he has held since 2017, so for the last 3 years. Prior to joining BAZNAS, Pa Wahyu has had a very illustrious career. He has worked in various different state-owned enterprises in leadership capacities in a diverse range of areas, including in operations, risk management, treasury, financial control, audit, as well as corporate governance. So Pa Wahyu, with our audience today, please share with us what is the BAZNAS perspective on this project and how will it help the potential of zakat in Indonesia? Over to you, Pa Wahyu.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will share first sorry, in a matter of technical. Sorry, I got a technical problem.
That is fine, Pa Wahyu. If you have the presentation on screen, because we can see your screen when you're sharing it. So, yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, first of all, for this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the participant, the speaker, Pak Ketua, our chairman, and the others. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to add the information that already explained by Brother Ishthiaq. I will share the point of from the BAZNAS point of view. And before giving some detailed explanation, Please allow me to start giving the information once again about the BAZNAS itself and the potential zakat in the early stage. The BAZNAS is the official institution and the only institution established by the Indonesian government through Presidential Decree number 8, 2001, which has the responsibility and function to manage zakat fund and other Islamic religious charity at the national level. BAZNAS has networks and coordinating BAZNAS at the provincial, city, regency, and others. We have 34 BAZNAS province, 514 BAZNAS regency and city, about 136 zakat collection unit, which is called OPZ, and around 24 national level of Amil zakat organization. Okay, can we previously slide? Okay. With that responsibility functions to manage zakat funds and other Islamic religious charity at the national level, and also considering the network of the BAZNAS, we will arrive at the information about zakat collected so far. And before that, we report the potential for domestic zakat collection is estimated at the 233.8 trillion in 2019 based on Indonesia Zakat Outlook 2020. And the recorded amount of zakat collected was, sorry, that's not I think the four slide, please. The third, please. The third slide, please. Okay. No, please. The previous one. We all recorded amount of zakat collected based on National Zakat Statistic 2019. That was only 10.2 trillion rupiah, consisting of 296.2 billion by BAZNAS Nasional and about 583.9 billion by BAZNAS Province and about 3.54 trillion by BAZNAS Regency and City and 3.73 trillion by Amil Zakat Organization, and they are just 2.07 trillion by others zakat management organizations. Next, please. So if we compare with potential for domestic zakat collection, it is estimated that the potential zakat of Indonesia in 2019 is about estimated at 233.8 trillion in 2019 based on Indonesia Zakat Outlook 2020. And if we compare with the recorded amount of zakat collected was only 10 trillion, that was only around 4.36 of the full potential zakat in Indonesia. We agree with that already. Brother Ishthiaq said that at the time, government and non-government zakat collection are in further need of capacity development to enhance the socialization process of the public, as well as strengthen their resource mobilization and reporting system. We also agree that if the formal collection from BAZNAS can be increased by even a small percentage, it will result in large quantum in zakat fund available for poverty reduction in coordinated and collective manner. This background will lead to the urgency and the relevancy of the project that BAZNAS and IsDB now started collaborations. Next, please. As already mentioned by Ishthiaq, the technical assistance project objective, we agree that this is to increase zakat collection at the national level and effectively channel some of the collected fund to zakat eligible activities of existing community-driven development. The example already given by Ishthiaq, I will explain in detail about the BAZNAS CDD, which is called ZCD, Zakat Community Development. Next, please. BAZNAS has the program ZCD. We call it BAZNAS Zakat Community Development. ZCD is an empowerment program of BAZNAS through communities and villages by integrating aspects of da'wah, economy, education, health, and humanity in a comprehensive way in which the sources of funding is from zakat, infaq, sadaqah, and other social religious funds. And the strategy of the ZCD program, there are 5. The first one is strengthening the program facilitator and building local cadres. It is also local resource base and also community based. And the 4th, it is the strategy based on appropriate technology. And the last is to build the local institution, which is the Islamic micro institution, health institution, education institution, and da'wah institution. Next, please. The ZCD project location that BAZNAS already been running until today. We have 6 areas across the region in Indonesia. The first is Bogor City in West Java province, which cover 5 communities. And the second, the Pariaman City, West Sumatra province, cover 1 community. And the third, Tanah Toraja Regency in South Sulawesi province, cover 1 community. And the 4th, Kendal Regency, Central Java, 1 community. And the 5, Sarolangan Regency, Jambi province, 1 community. And the last, Lombok Island in West Sumatra, Nusa Tenggara, cover 5 community. This is back to the previous slide, please. This project ZCD, I think, represent what BAZNAS already running community-driven development that will be included in the 4th component of the project component. Next, please. Apart from the original purpose of the technical grant agreement, as already agreed by IsDB, we were very concerned about the COVID pandemic recovery initiative, so that part of the grant fund from ISFD, Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development under this project, would be used to support BAZNAS into COVID-19 response activities, which is the first is the health program works to provide a healthy, clean environment through a hand washing drive covering 78 schools and benefiting around 90,000 students. And the second is the economic program provide livelihood recovery support to at least 35 micro entrepreneurs. Next, please. This explain the program of WASP facility program, which is very simple but effective to educate people, promote clean and healthy life behavior. I think this is a kind of program that answer so many questions from the mass media or reporters. Next, please. And the second, apart from the TA agreement, deal with the COVID-19 program, we also restoring a traditional retail store. As we all know that Jakarta has the worst COVID-19 condition in Indonesia with 180 8,000 confirmed cases in number in November 2022. And also there are economic downturn and large-scale social restriction worsen in retail business in Jakarta. And also demand for basic need is increasing, so that restoring traditional retail store is one, the intervention to help beneficiary economic condition while providing basic need for the society. Next, please. Now, this is the real core component of the project technical assessment. The first component is enhancing the IT system. The idea, the concept is to make payment resource accessible, convenient, easy, and secure for zakat giver, or we call it muzaki, by allowing the Simba platform, which is the current IT system used by BAZNAS for zakat collection, to be available in many multiple platform and operating system, maybe in PCs, Macs, tablet, mobile, Apple, and Android. And at the same time, the platform should also develop a distribution site by having profile of zakat eligible communities and individuals. This system will be provide the muzaki using debit card, credit card, GoPay, also, etc. And this will be used not just by BAZNAS and will be used at the provincial level, at the BAZNAS Regency and City and others. And by project completion, BAZNAS will have enhanced the system and deploy it as a platform for automatic real-time tracking of zakat collection and distribution nationwide. This system provides system the capability of promoting linkage between muzaki and also the mustahak, and also the lastly not forget is to track the zakat usage. The system will also give the information about the activity of the collection and also the distribution. Next, please. Coming to project timeline, this project already started in August 2020 and will be completed in August 2022. Some of the component already started, which was the kickoff already started in 3rd August in 2020. And we are now doing preparations, preparing system procedures current this week. And next to the first component, IT system enhancement will be started coming soon. And this should be, will be ended by the 2nd quarter of 2021. And the second component, which is capacity building, will be started coming soon and will be ended by the last and the 2nd quarter of 2021. The third component, the awareness campaign, will be started coming soon, and it will be ended by the end of 2nd quarter of 2022. And the other core component, which is piloting zakat in the CDD, including the BAZNAS, including BAZNAS CDD and others kind of project like Kotaku, will be started in this quarter soon, and will be ended by the 2nd quarter of 2022. And the last, I think, the project management will be going on within the period of 2 years, from 2022 until August 2022. Next, please. Brother and sister, I think that's all the information that I can share from the BAZNAS point of view. Back to Brother Said. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. And thank you very much, Wahyu. This was indeed a very interesting presentation, and some of the statistics are really eye-opening in terms of the potential of zakat in Indonesia. So we've already had a press conference earlier, and there have been a lot of questions which were answered. But I think we will still do one question, total 2 questions, 1 questions each from both of our speakers. I'll start with Brother Ishthiaq first. Brother Ishthiaq, in your presentation, you shared some really interesting details about the various social finance projects in Indonesia. And of course, most of these projects are in line with the IDB mandate of poverty alleviation, as well as the IDB strategic pillar of Islamic finance development. So building on this, I have 2 questions for you. Can you share from the IDB or the ISDB perspective, what were the main motivating factors behind offering this technical assistance project to BAZNAS? So that's the first question. And the second question is, through this digital platform, in your capacity as the country manager of Indonesia, what do you think will be the impact and milestones towards poverty alleviation and economic development for Indonesia?
Okay, thank you, Faik, for the questions. So in terms of the main factors that were motivating ISDB, first of all, I mean, from a program perspective, you mentioned that we've been involved in the social development programs in Indonesia. And yes, we have had a long journey with the Indonesian government and the benefit and the communities since 2008, when we started our first journey with PNPM Mandiri, which is the National Program for Community Empowerment, or Program Nasional Pemberdayaan Masyarakat Mandiri. That was ongoing as a national program starting 2007. So we've built up that experience and that platform, which can then serve many purposes. So the platform has mobilized the community, right? And the platform has set up a very good system of mapping, identifying needs, and also reaching out to the disadvantaged segments of the communities. So by having that platform and seeing the huge potential of zakat that was already mentioned by Wahyu very clearly in terms of the numbers, we saw that if we can channel that potential to these kind of existing structured programs, it would really enhance the development results and the impacts in all areas, not only poverty reduction, but all the SDG goals, all the national development goals as well. And that was, from a programmatic view, what was the motivating factor. Another factor here is that, you know, if we can show that this model can work, for ISDB, another driving force is that we wanted to be able to replicate that in many other countries as well, especially countries which have similar community-driven development programs and which are also having a huge zakat potential as well, especially when it comes to our least developed member countries or countries in Africa which are having difficulties as well. A third factor here is what the president of ISDB mentioned in his speech, that ISDB is now trying to catalyze the crowd, to motivate the crowd to be active participants in development as well, right? So you have a lot of people who are getting socially engaged, who are being motivated to give more philanthropic attention. And so here is an opportunity that we saw that can really enhance and attract the crowd to be part of the development process as well. Again, the partnership potential that we see from this project is in a way open and it's limitless, right? And we are already exploring with international partners such as UNDP, UNICEF, to see how we can tie in this program with these projects. So these are some of the driving forces, and I think I also answered part of your second question as well. So
absolutely. No, thank you very much. And I think all of us here in the audience and everyone, we take note that we pray for the success story of this project because it has potentials to be replicated in other parts of the world, including in other Muslim countries, and with the partnerships at UNDP and of course IDB's own network of regional hubs. So we pray, inshallah, this project is a success so that we can replicate the story elsewhere in other countries also. So now I'll move to a question for Pa Wahyu. And it was very interesting to note from your presentation that Indonesia has an untapped zakat potential of nearly 234 trillion Indonesian rupiah. And this project itself, based on the presentations by yourself and also by Brother Ishthiaq, we can see that this is one of the very few and innovative solutions for collection of zakat in an economy. And inshallah, we expect the project to end by August 2022. So now, coming to my question, in your capacity as the Director of Operations of BAZNAS, how do you feel this technical assistance will enhance the work of BAZNAS? And how do you see this digital platform? How will it transform BAZNAS operations? Can you give us some perspectives on this, Pak Wahyu?
Thank you, brother. Yes, indeed. BAZNAS, through this strategic partnership with ISDB, of course, we believe that project will be beneficial and we enhance the work of BAZNAS. According to the scope of these projects, we believe that by project completion, BAZNAS will have enhanced the systems and deployed as a platform for automated real-time tracking of zakat collection and distributions. The web-based online real-time, that I think the system that we always pursue time to time in my capacity as the Director of Operations. And we believe the system will provide capability of promoting linkages between those muzaki and to host receiving the zakat, the mustahak, and also not forgetting the tracking the zakat usage itself. And the second, I think the collaboration with ISDB proof again that BAZNAS has been continuously broadening the networking right now with ISDB and before previously with others like UNDP, UNICEF and others. And hoping this, inshallah, this project will be ended, accomplished successfully in the next 2 years since the first disbursement, 25th August and 2020. And lastly, inshallah, if this going good and success, I think we will look at further for the next future cooperation with ISDB with the new strategic initiative, new idea, and this is very good, very beneficial for the Islamic society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Wahyu. We only had about 30 minutes allocated for this session, so I'm guessing we've already accomplished the time. But I'm sure, with all the technical details, a lot of people would have been interested to know more about the operations. However, at this stage, I want to thank both the speakers, Brother Ishthiaq and Pak Wahyu, and inshallah, as I mentioned earlier, we pray with all our heart for the success of this project. And of course, I'm also from IDB. I wish you all the best, and we look forward to further collaborations as well. And with that, I would like to bring the session to a close. Sister Arwa, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Syed Faik Najib. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the project briefing session. Thank you for your time, Mr. Syed Faik, for smoothly moderating this session, and thank you, Mr. Ishthiaq and Mr. Wahyu, for your presentations and your insights regarding the projects. Let us all hope and pray that this project runs smoothly and successfully. We will now proceed to the webinar session, which will discuss the topic of the role of Islamic social finance for poverty alleviation. This session will be moderated by Mr. Fahmi Ali Hudaifi, who is a senior researcher at the BAZNAS Center for Strategic Studies. To Mr. Fahmi Ali, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Arwa Violadita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving to our webinar session. And inshallah, today we are going to discuss about the topic, unlocking the potential of zakat for poverty reduction and COVID-19. With me, Fahmi Ali Hudaifi, and I am a researcher at BAZNAS Center of Strategic Studies. Well, inshallah, our webinar today will be conducted in Bahasa. Selamat sore para hadirin sekalian, maupun yang hadirin sekalian yang ada di ruangan Zoom ini bersama saya, maupun hadirin yang ada di rumah yang menyaksikan via YouTube. Webinar ini adalah rangkaian agenda launching atau peluncuran kolaborasi strategis antara Islamic Development Group, Islamic Development Bank, dan Badan Amil Zakat Nasional Republik Indonesia atau BAZNAS RI. Dan hari ini, insya Allah kita akan mendiskusikan suatu tema yang sangat penting dan sangat relevan dengan keadaan kita saat ini. Tema kita adalah Unlocking the Potential of Zakat for Poverty Reduction and COVID-19, atau dalam bahasa Indonesia kita bisa memahami sebagai membuka potensi zakat untuk pengentasan kemiskinan dan penanganan dampak COVID-19, yang salah satunya adalah kemiskinan. Baik, hadirin sekalian, bersama dengan saya di Zoom meeting ini, di ruangan virtual, sudah ada 2 experts di bidang zakat yang telah memberikan kontribusi yang sangat luar biasa bagi perzakatan nasional maupun perzakatan di internasional. Insya Allah bersama kedua narasumber ini kita akan bahas potensi zakat untuk pengentasan kemiskinan dan penanganan dampak COVID-19. Pembicara pertama kita adalah Dr. Irfan Syauqi Beik. Dr. Irfan Syauqi Beik menyelesaikan studi doktoralnya di International Islamic University of Malaysia pada tahun 2010. Beliau adalah seorang akademisi sekaligus praktisi. Aktivitas mengajar beliau termasuk di IPB University dan mengajar di postgraduate program, juga doctoral program di Universitas Trisakti Jakarta. Di dunia akademisi, karya beliau yang fenomenal adalah CBEST Index. CBEST Index adalah alat ukur untuk mengukur kesejahteraan yang mencakupi kesejahteraan spiritual dan material. Selain itu, beliau juga merupakan seorang praktisi zakat. Beliau adalah Direktur Pendistribusian dan Pendayagunaan Badan Amil Zakat Nasional Republik Indonesia. Selain Dr. Irfan, pembicara spesial kita kali ini adalah ada Dr. Ahmad Juwaini. Beliau adalah Dr. Ahmad Juwaini menyelesaikan studi S3-nya, program doktoralnya dari Universitas Negeri Jakarta, jurusan manajemen. Beberapa pengalaman akademisinya adalah sebagai dosen pascasarjana di IPB, dosen pascasarjana di UI Bogor, dan dosen tamu di UI, UNE, dan UNPAD. Selain itu, Dr. Juwaini juga merupakan seorang praktisi zakat, sama seperti Dr. Irfan. Pengalaman praktisi beliau salah satunya adalah menjadi Presiden Director Dompet Duafa Filantropi, LSDD, periode 2013 sampai 2016. Saat ini, Dr. Juwaini adalah Direktur Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah atau KNEKS. Baik, hadirin sekalian, insya Allah kedua pembicara kita telah berada bersama kita. Akan saya mulai diskusi ini dengan informasi pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia yang barusan saja beberapa jam yang lalu diinformasikan oleh Badan Pusat Statistik Indonesia. Pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia minus 3,49% di kuartal 3 berdasarkan year to year. Pertumbuhan minus ini tentu berdampak pada angka kemiskinan dan ketimpangan yang meningkat. Dalam konteks zakat, tentu asnaf nomor 1 dan nomor 2, yaitu fakir dan miskin, juga akan meningkat. Di sisi lain, ketika pertumbuhan ekonomi turun, juga akan berdampak pada potensi zakat. Dalam hal ini, kita bisa berasumsi, rasional untuk berasumsi, menurunnya ekonomi juga akan menurunkan potensi zakat. Nah, baik. Dengan kondisi ekonomi seperti ini menurun, bagaimana kita bisa melihat potensi zakat? Seperti itu. Insya Allah kita akan mulai dengan Dr. Irfan Syauqi Beik. Assalamualaikum Dr. Irfan.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Mas Fahmi.
Ya, baik Dr. Irfan, mudah-mudahan dokter dan keluarga sehat walafiat. Baik, dokter, kita akan buka diskusi pertama dengan pendapat Dr. Irfan dalam konteks tema kita hari ini, membuka potensi zakat untuk pengentasan kemiskinan dampak COVID-19. Dalam konteks ini, bagaimana dokter melihat potensi zakat?
Ya, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jadi memang kalau kita melihat potensi zakat, ya, tentu ini kita harus mengkaji ya secara ilmiah ya mengenai potensi besaran zakat ini, terutama pasca terjadinya pandemi COVID, di mana kita mengalami resesi hari ini karena kita sudah 2 triwulan berturut-turut ya mengalami yang disebut dengan negative growth. Walaupun alhamdulillah kalau melihat trennya ya ada kenaikan. Kalau di kuartal 2 kita tumbuh minus 5,34%, sekarang minus 3,49%. Jadi angkanya mengecil. Mudah-mudahan ini menjadi turning point ya bahwa arah pertumbuhan ini akan kembali positif ya. Dan mudah-mudahan di kuartal 4 ini angkanya bisa naik ya di angka yang positif. Dan kita berharap mudah-mudahan di kuartal 4 dan juga di tahun depan tidak turun lagi, tapi trennya terus meningkatnya. Tentu ini sesuatu yang kita harapkan ya, sehingga meskipun kita mengalami resesi, tapi kemudian kita juga bisa segera memulihkan kembali kondisi perekonomian. Dan yang menarik adalah behavior atau perilaku masyarakat ya di dalam mengeluarkan zakat ini saya kira juga sangat menarik ya. Walaupun misalnya dalam 1-2 bulan terakhir pengumpulan zakat juga mengalami tekanan, tetapi kalau kita lihat overall growth-nya, overall collection growth-nya, kalau dibandingkan dengan tahun yang lalu, trennya masih positif ya, walaupun di 1-2 bulan terakhir mengalami tekanan. Ini artinya bahwa ada satu behavior atau perilaku di mana masyarakat ya di saat yang sulit seperti ini, yaitu mereka masih tetap memiliki komitmen berbagi yang tinggi. Yang ini saya kira patut untuk kita syukuri ya, meskipun ekonomi sedang sulit ya, dan saya melihat sebagian masyarakat juga di satu sisi mereka menahan laju konsumsi ya, pada sejumlah produk ya, tetapi di sisi lain untuk berbagi saya melihat masih ada optimisme ya bahwa semangat berbagi masyarakat ini tidak luntur akibat kondisi resesi ekonomi ini. Jadi artinya pada sisi individu ini memberikan satu harapan bahwa penggalian potensi zakat ini bisa terus kita lakukan dan kita kembangkan, apalagi kalau di kuartal keempat ini ekonomi kita sudah kembali pulih, kembali pertumbuhannya positif. Ya, memang kalau dari sisi angka, saya kira barangkali kalau kita tetap memakai asumsi bahwa proporsi itu antara 1,7 sampai dengan 3,4% dari PDB, tentu ada penurunan sedikit ya kalau kita berpegang kepada angka tersebut. Dan ini saya kira masih harus kita verifikasi lebih lanjut ya melalui studi, dan saya berharap nanti Puskas juga bisa melihat bagaimana proyeksi pertumbuhan potensi zakat di tahun 2020. Memang kalau kita berpegang pada proporsi tersebut ya tentu di sini ada sedikit penurunan dari sisi potensi. Tetapi kalau melihat behavior ya tentu kita berharap trennya masih positif. Demikian Mas Fahmi.
Ya baik, terima kasih Dr. Irfan. Jadi cukup respon yang sangat menarik di mana kita confident dengan behavior orang Indonesia yang saat pandemi ini tetap menunaikan zakat ataupun tetap berdonasi. Dan sepertinya ini inline dengan temuan kajian yang ditemukan oleh Dr. Karsi dari Universitas Indonesia, bahwa meskipun terjadi krisis, financial krisis, orang Indonesia memiliki niat atau behavior untuk tetap berdonasi. Ini sangat menarik. Kita akan lanjutkan hal ini, dokter. Dan sekarang kita akan terlebih dahulu beralih ke Dr. Juwaini. Assalamualaikum Dr. Juwaini.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mudah-mudahan Dr. Juwaini sehat walafiat, dokter. Baik, ketika tadi Dr. Irfan menyampaikan poin pentingnya terkait behavior orang Indonesia yang tetap berdonasi meskipun pandemi, dalam melihat potensi zakat ini, apa poin lain yang relevan menurut Dr. Juwaini untuk melihat potensi zakat dalam pengentasan kemiskinan dan dampak COVID-19 dalam situasi yang kritis seperti ini.
Baik, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma sholli ala sayyidina Muhammad. Pak Irfan yang saya hormati, Mas Fahmi, semua partisipan. Pertama, pada kesempatan ini kami ingin mengapresiasi ya kolaborasi yang partnership sangat baik antara BAZNAS sama IsDB. Pada kesempatan ini kami dari KNEKS mengapresiasi, apalagi proyek detailnya itu juga sesuatu yang menjadi concern kita semua, yaitu pengembangan platform untuk memfasilitasi penciptaan suatu pengelolaan zakat yang lebih baik, terutama terkait dengan informasi, sistem informasi, pusat data, dan semua kegiatan dalam rangka meningkatkan kualitas pengelolaan zakat. Kami menyambut baik dan mendukung serta mengapresiasi apa yang sudah dikerjasamakan ini. Ya, terkait dengan COVID-19, tadi Mas Irfan sudah menyebut beberapa hal ya. Jadi kalau kami lihat dari data kemiskinan, ya, angka kemiskinan di tahun September 2019 itu kan jumlah orang miskin sebesar 24,785 juta menurut BPS. Kemudian bulan Maret 2020 itu angka kemiskinan naik menjadi 26,424, kira-kira 7,24. Itu kalau digunakan angka pembulatan kira-kira naik selama 6 bulan dari September sampai Maret itu 2 juta orang miskin baru. Nah, kemudian kalau kita tarik ke sampai akhir tahun ya, karena kita akan melewati September itu 6 bulan, ditambah lagi sisanya 3 bulan lagi lah kira-kira. Sampai itu kalau kita menggunakan pembulatan lagi itu kira-kira bulatnya itu 30 juta lah ada orang miskin sekarang ini nanti di akhir tahun gitu, sampai akhir tahun itu. Nah, kalau kemudian menggunakan angka hak kifayahnya BAZNAS sekitar 700.000 per kepala untuk mengatasi kemiskinan setiap orang, itu akan diperoleh, didapat angka kebutuhan per bulan 21 triliun atau 1 tahun itu 253 triliun. Dan kalau itu kemudian dilihat dengan perspektif penyediaan dana subsidi pemerintah untuk pemulihan ekonomi nasional terkait dengan untuk dana bantuan sosial, security, untuk bantuan perlindungan sosial ya, security net, itu kan sebesar jumlahnya 203,90 triliun. Jadi kekurangannya itu kira-kira kalau dibulatkan itu kurang lebih 50 triliun lah. Itu kekurangan dana pemerintah untuk mengatasi adanya orang miskin yang memerlukan kehidupan untuk kebutuhan sehari-hari. Nah, disinilah menurut kami memandang bahwa diperlukan sumber dana di luar dana APBN ya, untuk membantu mengatasi kemiskinan dan dampak COVID-19, yaitu sebesar kurang lebih setidaknya sampai akhir tahun itu diperlukan 50 triliun. Nah, 50 triliun ini salah satunya bisa disumbang dari dana sosial, termasuk dari zakat gitu. Jadi zakat, infak, sedekah, wakaf itu bisa dipakai juga untuk mengatasi kemiskinan. Nah, di sini kalau sekarang ini kita punya potensi pengelolaan zakat dan kemudian juga realisasi zakat, setidaknya barangkali kalau misalnya kita menggunakan skala kenaikan yang reguler ya, yang dirilis oleh BAZNAS sendiri dalam kenaikan setiap tahun di kisaran 25-30%, itu artinya realisasi dana itu bisa menutup barangkali sekitar ya mungkin 15-20%, 30-40% dari keperluan dana yang sebesar 50 triliun itu. Tapi itu sangat penting sekali, sehingga menurut kami bagaimanapun juga di luar dana-dana sosial yang lain yang secara sporadik disalurkan masyarakat untuk membantu saudaranya yang kesulitan, maka instrumen dana zakat, infak, sedekah ini bisa kita betul-betul mobilisasi dan kita manfaatkan secara lebih baik untuk membantu mengatasi kemiskinan dan dampak COVID-19. Seperti itu dulu.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih Dr. Juwaini. Ini poin yang cukup insightful dan sangat menarik. Terutama yang perlu kita highlight adalah di akhir tahun ini diprediksikan akan sekitar ada 30 juta orang miskin baru. Betul ya dokter ya? Di akhir tahun.
Ya, itu total orang miskin.
Ya, total orang miskin, 30 juta total orang miskin. Karena sebelumnya memang sudah ada penambahan 2 juta orang miskin baru. Dan untuk menangani kemiskinan ini akan ada sekitar kekurangan dana 50 triliun ya dokter. Kekurangan dana 50 triliun dan untuk menutupi kekurangan dana dari APBN ini diperlukan sumber-sumber lain dan salah satunya adalah zakat. Baik dokter, dalam kondisi ekonomi resesi seperti seperti ini, tentu juga potensi zakat akan menurun seperti itu. Dan tadi juga di awal sudah disampaikan oleh Pak Irfan, meskipun behavior kita mendukung untuk membayar zakat ketika pandemi, akan tapi pada faktanya nanti akan koleksi zakat terjadi sedikit pengumpulan, meskipun hingga periode ini ketika year to year pengumpulan tetap naik. Baik, ketika membicarakan potensi zakat ke depannya dalam konteks pengumpulan zakat, bagaimana kita memahami potensi zakat dalam hal ini, dalam hal pengumpulan, sektor apa saja yang mungkin akan menjadi sumber paling potensial untuk pengumpulan zakat. Baik, mungkin kita bisa mulai dulu dengan Dr. Irfan untuk memahami hal ini. Bagaimana, Dokter?
Ya, memang kalau kita lihat sektor ya, kalau kita merujuk kepada hasil kajian Puskas, potensi terbesar zakat itu ada pada zakat penghasilan. Ya. Jadi artinya penghasilan profesi ini komposisinya masih sangat dominan. Dari angka 233,8 triliun ini proporsinya itu sampai angka 139 triliun. Jadi ini akan dominan, disusul dengan beberapa sektor yang lain. Ya, yang kedua kalau tidak salah adalah terkait dengan potensi zakat tabungan ya. Jadi artinya saya melihat ini trennya ya, kalau melihat komposisi ekonomi dan juga keterlibatan terutama umat Islam dalam kegiatan ekonomi yang memang dominannya adalah pada sektor jasa, kemudian juga kalau dari sisi usaha itu lebih banyak mendominasi UMKM ya, sehingga memang trennya ke depan itu kelihatannya polanya masih akan sama ya. Dan saya melihat bahwa untuk kemudian ya kita memperluas potensi zakat dari terutama sektor-sektor usaha, ya ini memang diperlukan sejumlah kebijakan ya, terutama nanti yang kaitannya dengan kewajiban zakat perusahaan. Nah ini kalau misalnya bisa kita dorong, kita terapkan ya, dan kemudian juga semakin banyak dunia usaha, perusahaan yang berzakat, nah barangkali kita bisa menggenjot ya potensi dari zakat perusahaan ya. Tapi kalau melihat komposisi hari ini kelihatannya untuk beberapa tahun ke depan polanya masih akan sama, di mana yang dominan adalah penghasilan profesi ini. Nah, karena itulah kita perlu untuk kemudian mendorong dan memperkuat ya kampanye dengan menyasar individu muslim di tanah air ini ya, untuk kemudian mereka kita ajak untuk berzakat melalui lembaga ya, melalui BAZNAS misalnya ya, supaya potensi zakat ini bisa kita realisasikan dengan angka yang lebih baik lagi. Dan tentu kita berharap bahwa akan ada breakthrough policy yang bisa kemudian memperkuat ya upaya kita menggali potensi zakat ini, terutama pada sisi zakat penghasilan. Nah, karena itu usulan-usulan seperti misalnya kewajiban zakat untuk ASN itu bisa menjadi satu satu langkah yang sangat strategis. Kalau ini bisa kita realisasikan di tahun 2021, saya kira akan sangat baik ya. Nah ini yang saya kira diperlukan ya. Apalagi ditambah dengan semangat dan juga rencana amandemen Undang-Undang Zakat yang sudah masuk dalam Prolegnas DPR 2019-2024 yang mudah-mudahan kalau bisa sih masuk di Prolegnas yang tahun depan. Nah itu mudah-mudahan juga bisa terakomodasi keinginan kita untuk mendorong agar instrumen zakat ini menjadi instrumen wajib ya. Wajib bukan hanya dari sisi agama tapi juga wajib dari sisi hukum negara. Nah, jadi ini yang saya kira akan kita dorong karena sekali lagi potensi terbesar zakat itu ada pada wilayah ini, yaitu pada wilayah zakat penghasilan profesi dari studi yang sudah kita lakukan. Nah, karena itu saya juga berharap nanti dari KNEKS juga bisa ikut membantu ya, mendorong agar misi dan cita-cita kita ya untuk kemudian mewajibkan zakat ini ya bisa menjadi kenyataan. Karena kalau tidak nanti trennya akan seperti sekarang, dan kemungkinan ya di tahun 2025 itu paling tinggi itu mungkin sudah baru bisa mencapai 10% dari total potensi. Kalau kita hanya mempertahankan pola yang ada sekarang dengan tren pertumbuhan yang ada seperti sekarang. Jadi kalau kita maintain growth di level 25%, ya di dalam 5 tahun itu kemungkinan kita baru bisa bisa mengumpulkan 10%, ya 10 sampai 12% dari total potensi yang ada. Kan sekarang baru di 4% ya. Nah, tugas kita adalah bagaimana kemudian kita bisa mendorong penguatan-penguatan kebijakan sehingga potensi zakat yang besar ini bisa kita realisasikan. Ya. Demikian, Mas Fahmi.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih Dr. Irfan. 2 poin yang yang sangat signifikan untuk bisa kita highlight. Dr. Irfan berpendapat untuk masa yang akan mendatang, tren akan sama, yaitu sektor yang menjadi unggulan untuk potensi zakat itu dari zakat penghasilan profesi. Itu akan dominan, dan tren ini diprediksi menurut Dr. Irfan akan tetap sama. Untuk mengaktualisasikan, untuk merealisasikan potensi zakat profesi ini, maka dibutuhkan suatu bahan kebijakan yang mendukung agar bisa menggenjot realisasi potensi dari sektor ini. Baik, ini poin yang cukup menarik, dan kita akan coba menggali lebih dalam bagaimana Dr. Juwaini bersama KNEKS, Komite Nasional Keuangan dan Ekonomi Syariah Indonesia, berkontribusi untuk mengaktualisasikan potensi zakat nasional, terutama dalam konteks pengumpulan zakat di masa saat kritis ini. Baik, mungkin Dr. Juwaini bisa menjelaskan pendapatnya ke depannya sektor apa yang akan menjadi tren, yang akan menjadi potensial tertinggi untuk pengumpulan zakat. Dan mungkin Dr. Juwaini bisa menjelaskan kepada kita bagaimana strategi KNEKS, rencana-rencana yang strategis KNEKS untuk mendukung hal ini.
Ya, baik. Pertama terkait dengan adanya penurunan penghimpunan zakat ya, terutama yang sudah dicatat itu kan di BAZNAS ya. Pertama ini perlu kita tambahkan dulu data tentang penerimaan zakat di lembaga-lembaga non-BAZNAS. Apakah tren ini sama? Kita kan belum punya data tambahan nih, kalau misalnya nanti itu kita dapatkan, itu menjadi pelengkap gitu ya. Dari apakah betul bahwa dampak COVID-19 itu secara agregat nasional memang menurunkan jumlah penghimpunan zakat di masyarakat. Kita mungkin perlu waktu untuk menambahkan sedikit informasi, menambah informasi terkait dengan data dari paling tidak mayoritas lembaga-lembaga zakat yang level nasional gitu. Nah, kalau ditanya kira-kira kan sebenarnya relatif ya, yang tidak terkena pengaruh itu relatif tidak terkena pengaruh itu pertama ASN ya. ASN kan tidak terpengaruh sebenarnya penghasilannya akibat adanya COVID-19 ini. Jadi dari kelompok ASN ini sebenarnya bisa dikatakan sebenarnya tidak ada perubahan signifikan tentang besaran zakat yang dikeluarkan ataupun yang dihimpun oleh lembaga-lembaga zakat, dengan asumsi mereka tidak mengalami perubahan perilaku. Artinya kalau hanya dampaknya penghasilan itu di kelompok ASN tidak terjadi. Nah, mungkin di kelompok masyarakat swasta mungkin memang katakanlah itu yang terjadi. Tapi sebenarnya yang tidak terdampak setidaknya ada 3 sektor sebenarnya. Yang pertama adalah sektor makanan dan minuman. Jadi makanan minuman itu relatif tidak terpengaruh. Ada COVID maupun tidak ada COVID, makanan memang harus tetap dilakukan, makan dan minum harus dilakukan. Jadi kebutuhan akan makanan minum itu tetap diperlukan. Paling gesernya adalah dari warung makan A ke warung makan B. Paling gitu aja bedanya, atau dari restoran A ke restoran B, atau dari penyedia makanan A dari penyedia makanan B. Itu saja. Tapi sebenarnya secara agregat kebutuhan makan ini tidak berubah akibat COVID-19. Bahkan beberapa kejadian menyatakan disinyalir karena terjadi perubahan gaya hidup gitu ya, ada peningkatan biaya makan dan minum dengan pola-pola menggunakan pemesanan melalui penyedia makanan online gitu. Kemudian yang sektor yang kedua yang justru malah mengalami kenaikan, diperkirakan mengalami kenaikan dari beberapa data-data yang kami peroleh itu adalah sektor kesehatan. Karena justru akibat COVID-19 ini terjadi kebutuhan pembelian biaya kesehatan yang semakin lebih mahal. Setidaknya untuk beli hand sanitizer, beli masker, ya kan itu akan meningkat gitu. Jadi di sektor itu meningkat. Bahkan kalau kita lihat ya, kalau kita jalan-jalan ke banyak usaha-usaha yang tadinya hanya kosmetik sudah menambah ke kebutuhan yang untuk COVID-19. Jadi dia sudah menambah fungsi barang-barang yang dijualnya ke fungsi-fungsi yang sebenarnya untuk membantu kesehatan di suasana COVID-19 ini. Kemudian sektor ketiga yang tidak terpengaruh bahkan diduga mengalami kenaikan, sekali lagi 3 sektor itu diduga mengalami kenaikan justru di masa COVID adalah sektor digital atau sektor komunikasi dan teknologi informasi. Itu akibat COVID-19 ini kebutuhan akan teknologi informasi itu malah meningkat gitu, sehingga kemudian biayanya itu bertambah gitu, sehingga perusahaan-perusahaan atau siapapun usaha yang sektornya dalam konteks menyediakan layanan untuk kebutuhan teknologi informasi dan komunikasi serta digitalisasi ini itu diperkirakan naik. Artinya pendapatan di kelompok jenis ini justru akan mengalami peningkatan. Jadi kemungkinan juga sumbangan zakatnya kalau kemudian kita asumsikan peningkatan pendapatan selaras dengan besaran zakat yang dia bayar ya secara reguler, maka itu akan membuat peningkatan pendapatan zakat juga. Jadi memang ada sektor-sektor yang mengalami jelas terpukul, bahkan luar biasa pukulannya seperti airline gitu kan, wisata itu pariwisata itu jelas gitu, itu sangat terpukul. Beberapa sektor perdagangan yang menggunakan pasar modern, terutama di mal-mal itu memang sangat terpukul. Tapi ada juga sektor-sektor yang mengalami peningkatan. Nah, terkait dengan itu semua, mungkin nanti ujungnya kita memang harus menghitung ulang. Tapi asumsikanlah mungkin kita mengalami penurunan, katakanlah demikian. Nah, kalau kami di KNEKS sebenarnya orientasinya sekarang ini bagaimana mempercepat terjadinya pertama mobilisasi dana zakat masyarakat itu lebih besar gitu. Jadi kita harus mendorong agar masyarakat ini semakin banyak menyalurkan kepeduliannya gitu. Apakah dalam bentuk zakat, infak, sedekah. Jadi semua katakanlah channel-channel pembayaran zakat atau infak sedekah yang selama ini sudah ada, itu satu hal yang perlu ditambahkan gitu. Kalau bahasa kita harus perlu ditambahkan dengan menguatkan di aspek layanan dan terutama fasilitasi teknologinya. Karena dengan adanya kita menambah sentuhan-sentuhan ya untuk terjadinya peningkatan pembayaran zakat itu kemudian kita berharap jumlah donasi masyarakat yang dibayarkan kepada kelompok-kelompok masyarakat yang menjadi korban COVID-19 ini akan meningkat. Karena itu kemudian salah satu yang kami kembangkan itu ketika kami sedang fokus mengembangkan zakat berbasis wilayah ya, itu muncul kemudian pendekatan bagaimana kalau dalam kondisi COVID ini lebih turun lagi ke bawah ke level kelurahan dan desa, karena asumsinya semua wilayah di Indonesia kan terbagi sama kelurahan dan desa. Artinya asumsi yang kita pakai, seandainya pengelolaan dana sosial masyarakat, zakat, infak, sedekah, dan wakaf itu berhasil dibangkitkan di level terbawah, maka artinya itu akan mempercepat juga sumbangan masyarakat dalam membantu mengatasi COVID-19 ini, gitu, termasuk mengatasi kemiskinan. Ini yang concern pertama yang kita lakukan pada kesempatan ini, yang sebenarnya ini juga didukung oleh banyak hal, ya termasuk kemudian adalah regulasinya juga harus mendukung, teknologi informasinya juga harus mendukung, kemudian juga kebijakan-kebijakan misalnya Kementerian Dalam Negeri, Pemda, ini semua harus mendukung semua seharusnya. Tapi memang itu harus kita proses dan kita progres dan terus kami lakukan sampai dengan saat ini kami terus memuluskan untuk pencapaian-pencapaian tersebut. Gitu. Mungkin itu tambahannya.
Ya, baik Dr. Juwaini, poin-poin yang sangat menarik dan sangat aktual, relevan dengan diskusi kita. Kita bisa mengambil beberapa kesimpulan dari poin-poin Dr. Juwaini. Beberapa sektor yang tidak terdampak atau malah meningkat ketika COVID-19, yang tidak terdampak makanan dan minuman ini tidak terlalu berpengaruh karena memang kita harus tetap makan dan minum ketika COVID-19 ini. Yang kedua, sektor kesehatan mengalami kenaikan karena biaya kesehatan naik dan barang-barang alat-alat untuk penanganan COVID-19 juga meningkat. Selanjutnya adalah sektor digital, seperti kita hari ini melakukan virtual, banyak virtual meeting, kebutuhan untuk digital, baik itu kuota dan sebagainya, itu meningkat. Dr. Juwaini, tentu isu-isu ini dalam konteks zakat, terutama dalam konteks riset zakat, menjadi sesuatu isu yang baru. Karena memang sebelum-sebelumnya potensi zakat itu, potensi zakat, perhitungan potensi zakat, itu tidak terlalu mengcapture potensi-potensi dari sektor kesehatan, terutama dan juga sektor digital dan teknologi informasi. Saya masih akan terus berlanjut dengan Dr. Juwaini untuk menanyakan bagaimana rencana-rencana strategis KNEKS, terutama untuk menggali lebih dalam lagi potensi zakat dari sektor kesehatan yang mengalami peningkatan dan sektor digital, teknologi, dan informasi. Apakah ada rencana strategis termasuk rencana riset potensi dari kedua sektor ini atau bagaimana? Boleh Dr. Juwaini?
Sebenarnya yang pertama kali itu sebenarnya concern kami secara makro ya, bahwa kita juga terkonfirmasi bahwa sesungguhnya pembayaran zakat masyarakat ini belum sepenuhnya, boleh katakanlah sebagian atau 50% bahkan lebih kan sebenarnya kalau kita menggunakan data riset literasi zakat yang dirilis oleh Puskas BAZNAS juga, itu kan ya bayaran zakat kepada pengelola zakat formal itu kan hanya sekitar maksimal 50%, bahkan kurang, bahkan sekitar 40-an sekian sebenarnya. Itu yang sisanya yang terbayarkan nomor satu kan ke masjid, bukan ke lembaga zakat formal, yang kedua kepada mustahik langsung atau kepada orang miskin langsung. Nah menurut kami sebenarnya memang yang paling penting tuh kita sekarang ini kayak semacam kalau kita ibarat menangkap ikan di zaman kita kecil ya, atau zaman kita di pertanian, itu kan kita harus memasang alat tangkap gitu, istilah kita itu alat tangkap di sektor-sektor yang selama ini blind spot gitu, yang selama ini sebenarnya blind spot gitu, yaitu di blind spot yang sekitar 50 sampai 60% itu gitu, itu sebenarnya kan perlu kita pasangi radar di sana, karena perlu sebenarnya kita tarik dulu data itu gitu, dan alhamdulillah ternyata kan kita juga mengapresiasi ya, BAZNAS juga merespon dengan membuat riset tentang itu yang sedang dikerjakan juga oleh Puskas BAZNAS bekerjasama dengan IPB, dengan Kementerian Agama, dengan BI, dan kami juga sama ikut serta mendukung. Jadi ini satu hal yang baik dulu gitu. Jadi sebenarnya ini untuk lebih membuat data kita lebih semakin terlihat bahwa sebenarnya antara potensi dengan realisasi itu lebih bisa digambarkan lebih clear dengan mendapatkan gambaran data yang lebih clear lagi dari kelompok yang selama ini kurang masuk dalam hitungan gitu. Kelompok yang kurang masuk dalam hitungan ini kita dekati dengan pendekatan yang baik. Nah, artinya sebenarnya kalau kemudian kita sudah melangkah di pencatatannya sebenarnya atau menginformasinya, ke depan kita mungkin akan mulai tahu sebenarnya titik-titik uang zakat tuh berkumpul banyak di mana gitu. Jadi berkumpul banyak itu kan bisa dari kelompok wilayah, artinya area, provinsi mana, kabupaten mana, kecamatan mana. Gitu kan, itu berkumpul di mana. Yang kedua di kelompok profesi apa berkumpulnya sebenarnya zakat ini terbanyak, yang sebenarnya banyak tapi belum dimasukkan ke dalam catatan kita, maksud saya di dalam catatan besar kita ini belum masuk, tapi di kelompok mana, di profesi mana gitu ya. Jadi ada kelompok profesi, ada kemudian mengenai wilayah, dan mungkin juga dari sektor gitu, sektor bidangnya. Jadi kan ada, kalau tadi kan antara pengusaha sama pegawai ya kan ada pembedaan itu di kelompok profesi, tapi mungkin jenis bidangnya. Kalau dia mungkin jadi bergerak di sektor wirausaha ataupun sektor pegawai, mungkin bidang-bidang tadi kayak kesehatan, makanan, termasuk teknologi informasi, itu akan semakin kita ketahui. Jadi kami meyakini bahwa semakin kita perlu mendalami di masing-masing titik-titik yang selama ini belum tergarap ini menjadi penting untuk dapat menangkap sebenarnya di mana saja uang zakat kita belum kita gali, atau kalaupun mereka sudah membayar tapi belum membayar dengan katakanlah cara membayar yang benar atau tepat gitu, karena mereka membayar masih sporadik kepada mustahik secara langsung gitu kan. Bahkan mungkin gitu seberapa besar kita belum tahu, tapi menurut kami ada juga kelompok orang yang belum membayar zakat karena ketidaktahuan, khususnya ketidaktahuan tentang harta zakatnya itu sendiri, bahwa di dalam zakat yang dia miliki itu sebenarnya dalam harta yang dia miliki itu ada zakat, dia tidak tahu. Mungkin kalau mengenai zakat fitrah dia tahu, tapi bahwa di sekian komponen harta yang dia miliki, dari sekian komponen penghasilan yang dia miliki, dia belum tahu bahwa ada zakat seperti itu. Kalau kami merujuk kepada angka literasi yang dirilis oleh Puskas BAZNAS kan sudah di 66, sekian persen literasinya. Ini kan berarti ada sekitar 30% tuh yang literasinya belum gitu, belum berhasil. Berarti tugas kita juga meliterasi nih 30% ini, yang saya bilang mungkin ini kerjaan kita untuk melakukan literasi, peningkatan literasi supaya kelompok masyarakat yang punya harta cukup, penghasilan cukup, tapi belum tahu bahwa di kelompok ini ada harta yang harus dizakati, nah ini tanggung jawab kita untuk melakukan literasinya. Mungkin saya kira itu juga concern kita ke depan gitu.
Ya, baik.
Right, to the audience, it seems that we have some technical issues with Brother Fahmi's connection. Right, there seems to be some technical issues with Brother Fahmi. So that marks the end of the moderated session for the webinar. We would like to thank Brother Fahmi for his time for moderating this session, and we would also like to thank Dr. Irfan Syauqi Beik and also Dr. Ahmad Juwaini for their knowledge and their insights. We apologize to Dr. Ahmad Juwaini and Dr. Irfan and also to the audience for the technical errors. And now we will move on to the next session. So, Alhamdulillah, dear audience, we have finally reached the end of the webinar, which also marks the end of today's event, the launching of a strategic partnership between ISDB Group and BAZNAS under the topic of unlocking the potential of zakat for poverty reduction and COVID-19. During this event, we have listened to many fruitful discussions from many experts in the related fields. We would once again like to express our gratitude towards all the respected speakers who, in the midst of their busy schedules, have made their time to come and share their insights through this event. We are very grateful and very honored to have you all here for this event. We would also like to thank the committee for their hard work and dedication in organizing this event. Even though we are now currently going through a pandemic, the committee has worked very hard and was capable of organizing and successfully holding this event. Finally, last but not least, we would like to thank the audience and all the participants for attending. Without you all, this event would not have been a success. With a heavy heart, we must part. But there is a famous saying that states that ends are doors to new beginnings. We hope that this will not be the last time we see you all, and hope that this pandemic will recede soon and the event was very beneficial to all of you who have been watching the event. As the Master of Ceremony, on behalf of the committee, I deeply apologize for any mistakes or inconveniences that may have happened during my time delivering this event. We hope that you all enjoyed and benefited from today's event of the launching of the strategic partnership between ISDB and BAZNAS. I, Arafila Ditya Sokta, officially close this event. See you all on the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.